Welcome back to the Underground, live from the Underground here in Randolph, Vermont. As always, we are so happy to donate 10% of our proceeds to Chandler Center for the Arts. Big thank yous to the owner of the Underground and the new owner of this whole space, Vincent Freeman.
Yeah,
Babs Mills, Cameron Kennedy, James Cross, Jim Yeager, myself, Jamie Gage. We love doing this series. It's the 50th one, and 1 year in, and we had I don't even know how to do this interview because we had the most energetic, amazing, wonderful guests here and a whole crowd that were watching up at the venue that they're going to be performing at tomorrow night in Randolph Center, Chet Fest. Big thank you to you all up there. And check that out tomorrow night. This is No Small Children. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
You guys are great. We had such a blast here. I can't even tell you. It's really amazing. Where did it all start? I'm just gonna open it up because I don't know how to follow a performance like that. But you guys tell us how this all started.
Take it away, Nicola.
So we're also all elementary school teachers, and Lisa and I started work together on the same day at this school, and she was playing in bands, and I would go support her music, and she inspired me to go and restart playing music again too, and she supported me. And one day we were on recess duty together, watching the kids, and balls were flying all around. Seriously. And we were just talking about how much work we were doing and how much time we were dedicating to little ones, and we thought we need to carve out even more time for us as adults. Why don't we try playing together? So we went into the studio, and within 3 months we were touring the East Coast, and we came back and recorded our first album. And we didn't stop. Lisa and Joni.
Joni in a parking lot.
Yeah. Lisa and Joni are sisters.
Very charitable of you.
And we did have another bass player, but once we got back from the East Coast, we started talking to Joni.
Well, I was supposed to. I'm the substitute bass player.
I accidentally asked 2 bass players to join the band.
And then we were all sitting down. I was like, "Well, wait a minute. I was supposed to be the bass player." And she's like, "Well, you can play the guitar." Okay. Just like that, demoted. But she's like, "Oh,
you think that's a demotion?"
Yes, I do.
What was going to happen to the original guitar player?
No, bass.
Oh, I thought. Well, right.
We were just getting going. We're just like figuring it out.
Well, and
it started with we're like, hey, you want to be in our band? Hey, you want to be in our? It was kind of like that.
Right.
Well,
Exclusivity vibe to
right.
get going.
And the truth is, when you're getting something going from nothing, it really helps to say yes to every opportunity that
Right.
comes your way.
Right.
And Lisa and I were like, yes, all the way, and we dove into it. Once we picked up Joni, we were teaching full time, and in the first 3 months, the 3 of us were playing. We played 55 shows in LA
Wow.
while teaching full time. So we just kept on going, and we kept that going for a few years until we could start sort of strategically saying yes.
55 shows in the first year.
In the first
And-
3 months.
The
We
f-
loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
that's what 2 out of 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
Right, that's
A lot of
almost
shows.
almost.
No,
it's like twice a week.
It's crazy. It's just nuts.
Yeah, it's
And
a
then
lot.
and then coming back to recess duty as teachers. And are you a teacher also, Joni?
Yes. Yeah. Actually,
Okay.
all 3 of us teach at the same school.
Oh my goodness! What?
Yeah.
I know.
That's amazing.
They do. At first we really kept our lives compartmentalized, and we didn't really talk about it with the kids because we're super protective of them. And so, but at some point, their parents were seeing us play live, and they'll go, "I think I saw your teacher last night." And then the kids will come in with like a T-shirt, our band T-shirt. And
Right.
Yeah. And so and then eventually we started to celebrate the fact that we had these parallel careers, and
We were afraid of not. We wanted to be. I mean, honestly, I felt like I wanted to be an artist, and I was afraid that being a true self artist would cross a boundary that I wasn't comfortable with as a teacher. That's how I felt. But at some point, it's like I just decided that it's all okay. There's nothing that we're doing that is influencing them, or I don't know.
Plus, it made us so happy that
Yeah.
that went right back into the classroom, and everybody had a good time because we were just really happy adults.
Yeah. And like you said, well, at some point you decided like, oh, it's okay because there's a certain level of discouragement, right? I guess, or something
isn't.
there.
There probably are at some schools, but where we are, it's we're in Los Angeles, so we're in our school. No one has ever mentioned anything that what you're doing is inappropriate or whatever. But
Actually,
but
quite
it,
the opposite.
yeah, quite the opposite. They embrace it, and also it's because I think they know that like I am who I am as a teacher and as a songwriter and as a musician. I mean, maybe the language will change. I swear less.
And the outfits will change.
There was a little swearing
A little
tonight,
swearing.
I noticed.
I know.
Just
Sorry
a
about
little,
that.
Just a little
That's
bit.
summer
No.
vacation.
But
summer
kids
vacation.
here swearing, and we're artists. Joni and I are music teachers, and we're not. We love our music and we love what we do, and every kid is hearing swears everywhere they go.
Right.
So only the teachers are the ones that can't swear. The parents can swear. The relatives can swear everywhere they go.
No, I mean,
Right.
but we basically we let the parents make those
Exactly.
decisions.
That's
We
true,
let the
yeah.
parents make the decision about what they're comfortable their kid listening to. But I would say most parents are very comfortable with
Yeah.
the kids listening to the music. Some of the songs like the Get Your Shit Together or F You in Any Language, maybe they might think twice about it. But we honestly, the kids at our school are some of our biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah.
They really are. And they tell
Yeah.
you like it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Super
don't
honest.
promote our music at school.
No.
But they find us.
Right. Right.
And
that
we
level-
have no apologies.
You're doing a lot of great crossover work that a lot of people should learn. There's no hypocrisy in what you're doing, and there's no reason you should be made to feel like there is, right? I mean,
No, but there is a time and a place for everything, and we help the kids know that.
Right.
When we're in school together, it's not the time or place. We're here to do this work together. You know?
Right.
So it's all right.
nice.
Like when Walter, remember when there was a kid, he comes in, he's like, I love that song, Drunk Creepy Guy.
Can you
Like,
play
oh,
it for the
God.
class? We're like,
No.
I had a great music teacher in elementary school, and he crossed, some boundaries. But I could tell maybe he was nervous. What was your experience as kids with your own music teachers in school?
I had an incredible high school band director, Mr. Brown, and he was definitely, he wasn't making his own music. He was a band director guy. I don't really know what the elementary teachers were doing, but, I guess it wasn't like what we're doing. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, that's-
I could just pick out there. We obviously grew up in the same town, and we are very, very fortunate.
So many stories to
Yes.
ask here
Lots.
about.
And I had, for me, I'm classically trained instrumentalist and a singer. I
Yeah.
only learned bass to play in this band, by the way. I'm not that great, but I'm working on it.
And I learned guitar.
Yeah, so exactly. But it was the reason I graduated high school, honestly. Music, and I had incredible mentors. Jane Hallett, you're probably not listening to this, but if you are, you're amazing. And
Mr. Brown.
And Mr. Brown. And
Well, I think what they did though,
Dr. Peter Cappers.
they didn't have I don't know if they had their own music projects, but they helped us find our lanes. Like Joni and I did not fit into the normal music curriculum or the normal like academic curriculum either. We didn't really fit, and they didn't make us feel like freaks. They said, you know what? They made us feel like we belonged, even though we learned differently, and that was. That's kind of important when you're a kid. I feel like that's happening in education more, but it would have been easy for us just to not fit into like, the high school band thing, and you just feel like a loser and you're not good and it wasn't like that at all with these teachers. They helped us find what we do, and they put us on the right path, and they're like, whoop.
Nice. I wonder what kind of pressure some of the teachers used to feel, maybe for trying to drive you down a lane that you don't
Yeah,
want to go
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And then clearly you don't, as teachers now, you're not interested in driving kids down a lane, I'm sure,
We
as
help them
teachers
find their
now.
own.
Right. Because you appreciate so much what the teachers did for you.
And you never
Yeah.
really know the thing you're going to say or do that will change the trajectory of a student's life.
Yeah.
So it's like, you just kind of follow their lead. It's years later they'll come back to you and say, "Oh, I remember you said this thing to me, and it really changed everything." You're like, "I don't remember that. I'm sorry." Sorry, I talk a lot, and poor Nicola is like, I'm just.
Yeah, we're
waiting to
getting
jump
you're,
in.
you're touching on the heartstrings.
Yes, very
Jamie,
much
so.
so.
Yeah,
You got me
It's
all
getting, like, really
sentimental about my
serious all of a
music
Let's
sudden.
talk about expletives then. Let's talk about a couple of your songs. Let's get your shit together.
Joni.
This is a COVID song, right?
Well,
Or-
it actually, it's a song that came to mind in COVID. And basically, it's those moments in your life. It literally, it's when we all have like the dropsies. You drop your keys and just the world will just not cooperate. Or you're trying to open the door and your shirt gets caught and then you forget the thing. And it's like one of those days you're like, come on, just get your shit together already. And that's what it was like. And I was like, get your shit together. And the next thing you know, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, get your shit. And then next thing you know, I sang it to Lisa, and she's like, oh yeah. And then it's just a lot. That's kind of a lot of our songs start that way. It starts with a hook, but that I was feeling it so strong. And to this day, whenever I'm having a moment like that, it's get your shit together. Yeah.
It's a refrain that every time I get in my car, I think I say it, some variation of that, and a lot of people do because you forgot, like you've not just the car keys, but the wall, whatever it is.
Yes,
and
yeah.
so I think that's great. I think that could go a long way.
Yeah. Feel free to use it, everybody.
Yes.
Get
yeah.
your shit
Please
together.
do. Please do. And I also want to acknowledge this big crowd at Chet Fest up on the hill. You guys are going to be getting your shit together tomorrow to put these guys on stage and a much bigger crowd. We thank you for that. The other songs, you had a song called Salad. Can we talk about that a little bit? What do we want to say about that?
Salad.
That was one of the first songs Lisa and I started playing because we were very serious about the process of music together and how we approached playing together, but we're not overly serious people. And, there's something about just this total acceptance that as we go on, there's a certain amount of sacrifice that if you want to have the energy to do what you do, you got to pay attention to some stuff. And one of them is eating a whole bunch of salad.
She likes salad.
Actually, I love salad.
Yeah.
I grow a lot of vegetables with my students, and so it's kind of funny because I actually love it. But it's much more about it just like saying, you know what, there's just something we're just going to have to accept as we grow older and older, and we might as well make fun of it because we're choosing to try to have as much energy as we can, all of this, but it doesn't mean it comes without sacrifice.
It's funny what you said when we first, because when we were starting the band, we just wanted to have a band where we just threw it all out. Just like kind of, for lack of a better term, like we throw up the music, just let it, throw whatever it is, just throw it up and just make a song. And it doesn't matter if it's and that's really what we wanted it to be, like Nicola said, about process. And then, so when we did our first EP, it's like, we're just no overdubs. So we did, it's only guitar, bass, drums, vocals, no overdubs, no second guitars, nothing. Because we were like, that's what we want to do. And then the second record, it's like, okay, let's add some overdubs, let's put some harmonies on there. And we got more into the production of it. But it was built from
Pretty raw,
a very raw place. Yeah, that's what we were. And it's still, I feel like it still has that rawness, but we really love the recording studio. Yeah. And we really get into it. Like, we love it. We just love every bit of it. We obsess over it and just love it.
When you listen to the albums in like chronological order, you can hear the growth of us as musicians and as music. And we never really said, oh, we have to write this song because this is what people want to hear. It's more, this is what sounds good to us, so we're going to put this out. And it's really clear to see what the evolution is.
Right. Well, the authenticity comes through because the live performances, I've only seen you maybe twice. I can't remember if I actually saw you at Tweed, but definitely at Chet Fest 2 years ago, and it's authentic as all get out. It's great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's definitely, there's not striving really for, although let's talk about radio too. Mm-hmm. What's that about?
Well, we were, the show Stranger Things,
Yep.
that show. Like, we all really like that show. And we were trying to figure out why we love it so much. And I think it's because it makes you feel nostalgic. It's like got the 80s thing going on, and like it just has sort of a nostalgic feeling to it, and we just wanted a song that had that feeling of like when you're a kid running around your neighborhood with your friends, you know.
Or you're sitting in the back of your parents' car looking out the window watching the electrical lines pass by on the freeway.
just like things like that. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
and then and put in the radio. So that song. Like our songs come in different ways. Like sometimes it just comes from a hook. Sometimes it comes from a chord progression or a beat, and sometimes it comes from a lyrical idea and this one came kind of like more cerebral in the sense that we knew that we wanted that. We wanted to have a song that felt like that memory kind of vibe. Like it felt like memory. So.
Came from a feeling.
Yeah, it came from a feeling, exactly. So it was written from there, and which when we write it like that, it takes a while because it's so abstract and there's nothing to hang on to. But so that one took a while, but I feel like it finally came together, and we knew it when it did.
Nice.
Like,
And that's a relatively new tune?
not really.
It's a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah, I think of when you were playing that. It's funny you mentioned car rides because it's immediately what I thought of. I've gone down to Florida as a little kid, and I have a soundtrack in my head on I-95 that I used to listen to. I'm 51 now, so it was late 70s and early 80s, and there's a whole soundtrack of the radio from those car rides, which is amazing.
That's the whole idea of it. It's supposed to invoke that type of sentimentality, and also the video for that, coincidentally, was kind of a dream come true for all of us because we got to work with Henson Puppeteers. And if you haven't watched the video, go and see it. But it was also that whole Sesame Street, Muppets, all that. It was very, very nostalgic for all of us. So it just seemed like a natural fit, honestly. And it was so fun.
Oh my God.
I bet.
My gosh.
With the
Bucket
Henson
list.
puppets.
Puppeteers, like people would like that from that video show. They're professional puppeteers.
Right.
I mean, who thinks of that? It's like I want to be a puppeteer and move to Los Angeles and work for. I mean, it's just talking about dream come true. Oops, I should hold this up. Sorry, Vincent.
Well, you do, and you guys have done a lot of soundtrack work. Of course, most famously, the Ghostbusters theme song. You've done a lot of other stuff. You've got a lot of videos on your website.
Actually, some of our biggest hits on that is from Les Tombelefi, which was another Paul Feig movie, where Nicola here made her singing debut in NSC, and her first song out the gate goes into a major motion picture.
Because they called, the music supervisor called and said, "Yeah, we're doing this film, and we really want we want you guys to do a version of this song, Les Tombelefi." The thing is, the song's in French. So we're like, well, Joni and I don't speak French, but Nicola speaks French. So like, Nicola, you're singing this one.
And the joke of our band always was like, I play guitar and sing, I play bass and sing. And they turned to me and I was like, I don't sing. And they're, say what instrument you play. Oh, yeah. but they've gotten me singing. It's really fun.
It's really special. I love it. And whenever we get to do it, people just lose it. It's a great moment.
But we didn't hear it tonight.
No, we don't.
We did not hear it tonight.
Will we hear it tomorrow night?
I don't think we'll hear it tomorrow night, but we'll have to bring it back.
We do have to bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a major motion picture soundtrack.
It's tricky
song.
because she has to go out front. So there's a whole like shift that has to
if
happen.
Lisa plays drums, then someone's got to play guitar.
Yeah.
Or I got to play both, which is really awkward. So.
Oh, right, because you don't sing and play drums at the same time.
No, that would be a disaster.
I saw one of the videos also called not about consideration or about concerned. I'm so concerned. And talk to that a little bit because that was a kind of a heart.
Can I talk about that?
Absolutely.
Felt
So,
kind of song.
The thing is we've been teaching a long time. And all of a sudden, what we all of a sudden had to do, we had to have drills for active shooter drills. Yeah. And honestly, the first time I had to have one with the kids, I was, oh my gosh, I'm getting, we were sobbing.
Yeah.
And it's so normal for the kids now, but for those of us who didn't grow up having to do that, I mean, I remember we had to go hiding under the table for nuclear raids, which doesn't make any sense. But that is so abstract, and what's not abstract is what actually is happening today. in schools around the nation. And our kids, we do it fairly regularly, and it's taking its toll. And so we just needed to express that.
And also, too, like, I know that's like absolutely 100%. And also, I feel like I know that when we were working on the lyrics, I was thinking about how, I don't know, like sometimes I feel like kids aren't taken seriously. Like the students aren't, a lot of, aren't taken seriously, like their point of view and what they're saying. And, that was just something I know I was thinking about, like just really taking children seriously and what they're saying, and not because of their future, but because of who they are right now in this moment. Like they're a person now. You're not teaching them to be a person a long time from now. You're like dealing with a person in this real time. And
Actually, yeah, we wrote it when the kids in Florida really started to get together and gain a stronger voice. And actually, we talk to the children all the time about how people are listening to kids more than ever if they're grounded in facts and knowledge, and they can really represent their point of view. And I actually we live in California, I do take my students to the floor of the Senate in Sacramento, and they lobby on the floor every day, and they do, every year, and they do a lot
great.
of work to get ready for that. But anybody younger out there, your voices are actually being listened to in a much more serious way than ours ever were, because you know how to mobilize and use social media for your benefit, as long as it's steeped in fact. And I mean, of course, we have seen a little bit of a tipping point when it's not, and it's used in a weapon, and it can be dangerous. So, it's a very heavy tool to use responsibly, but people will listen.
Good for you. That the movie Bowling for Columbine, right? Yeah, I think so. The most sort of important quote I heard out of that movie was actually from Marilyn Manson, who, when I think the director Michael Moore says to him, what would you say to those kids if they were here right now? And I'm not sure if he was talking about some of the victims or the shooters themselves, but he said, I wouldn't say anything. I would just listen. And I thought that's what we need to do, and it sounds like that's what you're giving voice to the kids
For what
by
they
bringing them
care
to
about. They choose what they care about, and then they learn the history of it, and then they learn how to mobilize. But we take the lead from them. It's not our agenda. We just
teaching them not what to think, but how to think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, which in our generation, it seems like you didn't get the opportunity to do that until college, or if you went to a good prep school. But now, that is so hugely important, especially now when the gravity of the world's problems are right in their face every day.
And
right?
more recently with COVID this past year, I mean, obviously for anybody who has young children at home or children at home or who's an educator, this has been a year like no other in education, the most challenging time I have ever had. And, it's oddly enough, even with the school shootings and COVID and things like that, is that, teachers are often, it's like two ends of the spectrum. One day they can say teachers are heroes. We love them. Like on one day, people love us when we're jumping in front of bullets for students. But God help us if we're trying to do something to prevent the bullets from flying in the first place.
Right.
And or with COVID, we care about our lives, and we deeply care about the students' lives. And all of this, you don't have to listen to us. You don't have to listen to me. You don't, like Nicola and Lisa were saying, just listen to what these kids are saying. Right. Just listen to them. That's all.
That song is definitely our heaviest song.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it is.
We're a pretty silly group. We're a very silly group. And so we figured we're going to spend that series capital on something that was really important.
Right.
It's funny. People don't usually ask us about this. So.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm kind of a...
No. It's nice. It's good.
I grabbed onto that because it just seemed like it was it was such a mirror image of what, like, I would like to see my kids be told and encouraged, is to be listened to and to speak loudly. And and getting back to your other stuff, boy, yeah, a little silly, and influences beyond that. I don't even know where to start. I mean, I think of like PJ Harvey and Debbie Harry, and like more recently like Tank and the Bangas, and you really reminded me of Tank and the Bangas with some of your some of your
My facial expressions, was that it?
well,
No,
and
it's
just
a
your
soul.
ability to sort of transcend how you use
Thank you.
language with your music.
Thank you. Lisa, for the most part, she wrote a lot of the tunes, most of the tunes. She does all our engineering and production. But it's this, in terms of, as a group, all of us have a completely different background. Even though Lisa and I are sisters, we grew up with a very different interest and focus in music, and Nicola as well. And we kind of bring that breadth of experience to this project. Before this, I was, in terms of gigging, exclusively a singer. I'd never
Right.
played instruments, in a band like this before. And so it was a very different role for me. And it's awesome to have a place for, nice to have a place to apply it. And I love every little element that all of us, it's like Stone Soup music.
Yeah.
It's like so too, and this band is like, we're kind of a machine at this point. Like, it's very easy to be in this band, right? And we all use it. It's a creative place, so it's like we all get to be creative all the time with our band, and it's so much fun to have a place to be creative with other people, and because I feel like being creative kind of keeps you going.
Right, and
You know?
a little cathartic too. I
little
would say,
cathartic,
because
absolutely.
right.
Yes.
I mean, nothing fixes a bad day faster than just singing your guts out. It is the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest therapy I ever had.
And boy, I can see, in a way, why crowds have such a good time with you guys, because you're having such a good time.
We do have a good time.
right?
Yes,
Looks
we
like
do.
you're having a blast.
We really do.
Well, we actually say if people are actually getting in their cars and coming out to see us, we want them to be part of the party.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
we hope our music feels like this, not like this.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
it sure does. When you got the engineer and owner of the underground abandoning his post to dance and, hitting his head on, wires and full abandon. It was a beautiful thing. It was amazing.
Awesome. You didn't
yeah.
hurt yourself, did you? Okay, good.
Right on. Talk about this. So, sisters, you've been at least harmonizing, yeah? Because you're also a singer from a long time with your sister, or
I'm
no?
less of a singer. I really didn't sing until this band. Actually, the band before this. The reason, and this is going to sound really bad, but I was a drummer in a few bands. I was mostly a drummer, and I majored in saxophone in college. And then I just got sick of lead singers. So I'm like,
Especially me.
So I'm gonna learn how to play guitar, and I'm gonna be the singer. And so I had this solo project, and I played acoustic guitar, and I had a solo project where I just recruit friends, and my husband would play piano, and we'd play one show at a time until that day with Nicola, and then we formed this band with Joni, and so yeah, I started singing way more seriously as soon as I joined No Small Children, or started No Small Children.
But there was always music in our house.
Oh, yeah,
growing
like-
up, and there was always singing and lots of harmonizing. We're one of 5 kids actually, and so there was.
It's a big Italian family too, so people are always at the house singing songs and singing the old country songs.
And it just felt like that's what everybody did. It just was so
Right.
normal
Right.
that until I started to get to the point where I could study seriously, I didn't really realize that other people didn't do this.
What's funny is that you can imagine when Joni's your younger sister, it takes a while for you to get the courage to be the singer.
sister.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
What were you singing before that?
Pretty much exclusively soul and R&B, and a lot of session work, so recording for other projects. But I was in a band called Super Honey that was based out of Boston for many, many years, and it's a soul, funk, R&B band. And most people who watch me in this band would be extremely surprised to see, how it is now.
And while she's in that soul funk band, I was playing drums in a hardcore band called Bigwig, playing all those hardcore shows with Sam Black Church and Tree and all that. And then in a punk band called Heidi. And then we went to LA from there.
Yeah.
So that was happening. That's what we were doing. Completely different bands.
Stylistic.
And then Nicola was jamming out somewhere. I don't even know where you were.
She was following the dead, and no.
Following the dead.
Old Deadhead. Hey, that's
Yes.
okay here. I'm with you. I'm with you, sister. A lot of barefoot summers for me.
Beautiful summers.
Yeah. Did you grow up in? Well, now you guys grew up in Massachusetts.
We did, yeah, on the South
Yeah.
Shore.
Yeah.
On the mean streets of Hingham, let me tell you.
Right on. Did somehow was both there?
We're from the same. We're from the same
right,
town
you
as
seen
Bo.
him. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We,
'cause
we
he's-
go way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's what a talented town. Something else.
Something on the water, maybe.
And you came from where?
I grew up in
Nicola?
Seattle.
Yep.
Yeah, which is
Another
a really
hotbed
beautiful
of-
place. Yeah,
yeah,
and it was. I grew
music.
up all around grunge as it was emerging, and those were all my influences as a young musician. But I was actually a competitive athlete. I was a downhill racer and a tournament soccer player. So, this is why I tend to gravitate towards very physically active instruments. So I played and then all of a sudden walked away. Like I was so smitten with teaching that I just poured myself into it. And I emerged later like, oof, this is great, but something's missing. And so I started more of like a surf rock band in Los Angeles with some great players. And I'd say to them, this is great, let's go on tour. And they're like, that's ridiculous. And I'd like, come on, let's go play the clubs. That's crazy. And so while I was playing with them, Lisa and I started, I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm going to have to make a choice. This life is short. Let's say yes. So that's how that transition happened.
Nice. Let's say yes.
Let's
I
say
like
yes.
That. That
Yeah.
could be kind of a motto for the band.
It was
is,
in the
it is.
beginning,
Literally.
because
Really?
we had a student. His name was Spencer Ludwig, and he was he ended up joining Capital Cities, that band. He was a trumpet player on that really big song, and he would say yes to everything, and he poured his heart in, no matter what. It could be like two people on a street corner, and he would pour his heart into everything he did, and that was one of those instances where Spencer taught his old teachers, about opportunity and about grabbing energy and grabbing things as they're going, and it's such a fast world, and he was just, and it really did inspire us, and we used him we actually talked about him and said we should just say yes to everything that comes our way until we can't say yes anymore, and that's what we did, and it really worked for us, and it was a motto. In that movie, Yes Man, I love it with Jim Carrey.
Oh right.
Sometimes it's yes and yes but always yes.
Well, it's not yes all the time anymore.
Not anymore. Now we're like,
And the thing that really made this work is that we each gravitated towards the aspect of doing this work that we really enjoyed. And so Lisa did all of our music production and recording, and a large bulk of the writing. Joni also writes and did all of our digital work and all of our web design work and all of that work. And
About a lot of our videos, most of our
videos. And then I do all the money and the booking and the business and the.
Nice.
She's the brains. Yeah.
But
big boss.
That's why she got the armrests.
That's right.
but it works because nobody steps on each other's toes, and all cylinders are going at all time. Because if we're all in it 100%, then it just works. And we've had some really hard conversations. And when you're growing up, you don't learn how to argue with your best friends, really, or say really, really tough things. And we've had not arguments, but really raw conversations.
Arguments too.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but you guys.
Lisa and I never argue.
Those two really argue. I don't really argue.
We argued today. I apologize to Vincent and Cam.
I never argue.
Sorry, Lisa. I'm sorry. Sorry, Vince. Sorry.
But I mean, I think that's sort of a piece of it, that you have to be super honest. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right. I'm always surprised that when people are surprised that bands fight or have troubled times. It's like, well, what do you expect? You're together for so much of your life.
It's you together, but it's also you to do this. You have to put your heart. It's vulnerable.
Yes.
Like you have to put yourself out there, and it's really, really vulnerable, and it can hurt. And when you work through that, you come out on the other side more trusting, because nobody walked away.
Yeah.
Right.
And the kindest thing you can do for another person is to be honest.
Yep.
It's it's figuring out how to say it without just crushing them. And with music, it's so personal. You know, like when you write a song, it's almost like you feel like it's a little piece of you. So when someone says, I don't like that, it's real easy to feel like they're saying, I don't like you.
Right.
And that's like the challenge of age and experience, honestly. As a really young musician, I felt that a lot. And over time, you figure out how to just say, my devotion has to be to the song, to the music, and not to my ego, or it's not about me, it's about making this song as good as it can be. And if you feel like everybody's focus is on that and not trying to come after you as an individual, it's a lot easier. But it's hard.
It's hard.
It's
it takes
really
a while
hard.
too. It takes some time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a band locally here called Strangled Darlings, and I was just talking to James Cross about it before your set. And that comes from William Faulkner, the writer William Faulkner, Nobel Peace Prize, whatever, speech,
Big deal.
which is like, yeah, exactly. But it was great advice for a lot of writers, I think, because it's like learn how to, even if you love some part of your art, if it doesn't fit, you've got to be merciless about it and say, no, I got to, and when it comes to personalities, people get so affronted sometimes if they're attached to a piece of art. Right?
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that. Some of the hardest conversations we've had have been in the recording studio and deciding how to edit and when to edit and how to pick and choose it, because it's permanent.
Right.
Like, we're actually really kind to each other in the live room space. And, you know, if anybody was watching, there was a moment that fell for a second and one of us picked it back up, and we're not going to hold on to that. You know, but when it comes to the recording studio, that's some of where the hardest discussions have happened, and it's okay.
Have you found like there are pieces that you've picked back up later and done some great work with?
Yeah.
Yes.
We put things
Right.
on the back burner for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes especially if we're like workshopping something, a song, sometimes it'll be a really great part, but the two parts don't go together. So we just put it aside and make a whole new song out of it.
Right.
And
right.
you know, so it's like the sourdough starter for something, the next song.
You know what you said too earlier, it's like it is, you know, half of it is learning to be able to take the criticism and take the rejection, if you will, but it's the other part is learning how to do the rejecting and to do it and how to communicate without crushing someone. Because it's you know, like I know when I talk to the kids, it's like, you know, you don't have to say yes, but you got to say no in a really nice way, the nicest way you can think of. And so, you know, I think that definitely is part of what we do. You know, we really do care about each other. So we try to do it respectfully, you know, say what we need to say without being disrespectful or without, you know, belittling or whatever, you know.
I feel like that makes us trust each other more too. Sorry, I feel like that makes us trust each other more. I'm just used to always being so loud, I don't even need to have a microphone in my mouth. But like when somebody tells you the hard thing and they do it in a kind way, there's an authenticity or genuineness that comes from that, and you trust them more when they do that, because you know that they're not just blowing smoke up your ass. Like,
Yeah,
they're-
so
we don't get
valuable.
away with anything. And there's- yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely don't.
Things just don't go unsaid. They just don't.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's such a good, valuable personality trait of teachers, you know, is being able to do that in a graceful way, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
As
that's
my mom says, it's all about the framing.
right.
It's all about energy.
That's what she says. It's all about energy.
It's all about energy.
Nice.
She's right though, but it's annoying.
Sounds like a very wise woman.
She is.
She is.
Is she watching tonight? Should we get a shout out? Do you guys
I
want to
don't-
give any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to the Chet Fest people.
Yeah,
we see them on the
was-
screen right here.
yes. Our mom probably isn't listening, but if she is, Ma, we love you. You're amazing.
Her birthday was yesterday too, so
I
happy
know.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. Miss
I called her.
Pimentel.
Did you call her? I called her.
Of course I called her.
The Chet Fest looks like a plaid conference
Fest.
too, kind of. Hey, folks. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Barn.
Ooh.
Right on. Right on. And so you've your discography's what, 10? You've been at it for 10 years or
No,
about,
no,
roughly, or eight?
not.
Nine?
It's
8. Isn't it
8 years.
8 years?
Yep.
With Joni 8.
With Joni 8.
With Joni 8.
And how
That's
many
when it
albums?
started.
Pardon?
How many albums?
4 albums and a whole bunch of singles.
And what are you doing right now?
Well, right now we're here.
Working, we're here.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, there's a
Yeah,
couple
yeah,
songs in
yeah.
the pipeline. We started recording. We tried to get one. We played the first song we played tonight. We tried to get it done before we left, but we couldn't. We couldn't get it done. So we'll finish that when we get home. I have a couple songs there. As far as when we go back to LA, the COVID situation is not that great. So I don't know what's going to happen with shows there, but no matter what, like I said, this is our creative. This is what we do. So
Yeah.
it's something will happen. We'll do something and probably do more songs in the studio.
Right, lot of
I got
writing.
we have a movie thing that we can't talk about right now that is going down the pipeline too. So some
Nice.
stuff. Yeah. It's all exciting.
Nice.
We're being very mysterious right now. Lisa just dropped some seeds.
Fair enough.
But this tour, we're doing 6 shows in 9 days, and we thought we could commit to that because we honestly didn't know what the summer landscape was going to look like, and we narrowed it down to what was looking like our favorite places to go to. So
Nice.
unlike our previous tours where we would go, from Maine to Ohio down to DC and around, just do the whole thing. We said, let's just focus on everybody just wants to reconnect with one another right now, and let's see friends and let's have a good time and keep it simple because we don't know what's going to happen this summer.
And this part of the country is doing a lot better, generally speaking, in terms of the percentages of people that are vaccinated. And we kind of keep our eyes on that information pretty closely. And most of what we're doing is outside. This is actually one of the few inside things we're doing. And so that was a part of it too.
Nice. Well, we so love that you're in Vermont. I loved what you said about Vermont. There's like a little bit of a weight lifted, maybe.
Yes, definitely.
Right on. Right
Yeah.
on.
The air smells so good here.
That little sign when we passed over.
We've actually come to Vermont every summer for all our years together because it's a relief for us actually.
Nice.
When we saw the sign across the bridge, we all clapped like,
Right on. Well, it was such a privilege to have you here. It really, really, we all enjoyed it so much. I know folks prepping for tomorrow night are there and they enjoyed it too.
One question from the barn, actually,
Yeah,
right.
I was going to.
which is what dresses you're all wearing tomorrow because they're trying to coordinate.
We have a new dress that we're wearing tomorrow night that we've never worn before that Nicola found at a fancy dress shop in North Hollywood.
and I guess that's what we're wearing. We usually.
I thought that's what we said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yes. Color. It's every color of the rainbow. Yes.
Coordinating.
It's
Yes.
rainbow. It's funny because that's right. Nicola actually, she's in the dress shop, and we
hardly had any time
Really?
before. So we're like, if it fits me and fits Joni, it will fit Lisa. Like it's always a little too weird for me and Joni, but it always fits Lisa.
always. Yeah.
Well, Joni and I, it was like at the end of the school year, which for a music teacher is like, really crazy. And Nicola is kind of winding down in the classroom and we're like at her. So Nicola, she goes down to the store to try all the dresses on, take pictures and send it to Joni. And we're like, nope. Oh, yes. And then
Yeah.
we vote and then she buys them. And then unfortunately
Yeah.
we had to go back. She had to go back to get the different size on this one. But that's too much information.
a lot of information.
We have, for those who don't, we wear matching outfits to every show. And so our closets, we actually have a whole section. In Lisa's case, actually has a whole closet.
I have a whole closet.
dedicated just to NSC outfits. But I actually love wearing the same thing. It makes it so much easier to get ready.
Do you ever retire the outfits and then put them up
Oh,
on
yes.
Sotheby's auction block?
Yes.
You could probably, that's a fundraising opportunity.
Yeah,
maybe.
we have sold
we
them
have,
and
yeah.
done fundraising.
Yeah.
Our favorite dress, my favorite dress ever, the dry cleaner lost it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was just
It
awful.
was hat breaking.
Talk about get your shit together.
Right?
Right? I
But I got free dry
Hey.
cleaning for like 2 years.
mean, you what?
I got free dry cleaning for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
So they got
but I
their
don't
shit
really
together.
go to the dry
but-
cleaner very often. So
Every once in a while, we'll make a choice. Like it'll seem like a great idea in the moment, and we'll like talk ourselves into it, and then we go home like a week later and put it on. And go, what the hell were we thinking? This looks terrible. Like we
like
have
the Carmen Miranda outfit. It's like I felt like it was
a-
tico ta.
It was a trumpet skirt in a palm thing, and it had like this tube top, and it was I don't know what we were thinking, but that sales lady was super effective because she talked us right into that.
Yeah.
Ladies, you look amazing. You need to get this. I'm like, okay.
I've got a thrift shop down the road. We should
Right
get you guys
on.
over.
There's a thrift
yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
Because we're like color. Sometimes we'll do all one color.
Yes.
You know, we all get the same color.
Right.
Ooh, let's
Right.
go.
Yeah. I do love a good thrift store.
Fantastic.
So the short answer is we're wearing brand new dresses that have a rainbow of colors
Like little hearts
Excellent.
on them.
and
And
little
I'm
yeah.
going to say there's a little Deadhead influence in since Nicola was you were the original purveyor of these dresses, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's of those. I mean, sure, I'll take it, but I took lots and lots of pictures and just waited for the yes.
And it's not even to get yes. It's like the emoji.
We have an
This-
endorsement with Pinup Girl, so it's kind of
Yeah.
the hot rod outfit
Yeah,
is kind of we have a lot of those.
I don't know what pinup girl is.
It's a brand.
It's
It's like
yeah.
rockabilly type dresses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
And
retro.
one of your next shows is at a hot rod.
Yes.
Festival.
Yes.
This
Yes.
Right
is a
on.
good time, actually.
Nice.
They have field and fields of cars that have to predate. I think it's like 1965 or something. So they're really like fields of these cars, and everybody who goes dresses up in a particular style.
Retro look.
And
Nice.
it's a pretty down and dirty festival. It's different than a hippie festival, and people get into it. So we just love it. On one Saturday, we're playing in a 200-year-old barn in Vermont. The beautiful people, and the cows are coming home. And then the next Saturday, it's a sweat fest.
The bikers and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know gearheads and
Yeah.
yeah.
Very-
That was a surprise. With the last time we played that show, we didn't really know what to expect, and then
we
It's
loved
funny,
it.
they didn't know what to expect
No.
from us
No.
either.
And-
We're walking
and-
around, they're like, who are these people?
and it ended up being it was a huge thing. It was so
They're-
fun.
They're wonderful people.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Really fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for coming in.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you
entertaining
so
us.
much. That was so fun.
Yeah.
You asked some really good questions that we don't often get asked. I
Oh,
really
thanks.
appreciate that.
Well,
Yeah.
try to make it interesting, and actually, you know now it's the opportunity for you to ask questions of anybody here if you have any.
Tried that before, it didn't work.
Yeah.
So how has business been here at the studio?
It's been great.
He says it's been great.
The live stream series has just been so much fun, and so many fun recording sessions with bands all around the state, and starting to go out of state too. So
Have you heard from anybody internationally checking in yet?
as far as people
Just-
watching, well, my parents from Germany,
Great.
they watch every week, and my uncle as well. Besides that, I think it's all nationally.
Yeah, but it can have a ripple effect. I mean, that honestly, before COVID, we decided we do have people watching us from all over. Like, actually, quite a huge following from Nepal and Chile and Argentina and all of that.
Wow.
And because actually, Facebook it may be waning a little here, but it's very, very active in other countries like that. And so we have people writing to us internationally. So before COVID, we got our studio all dialed in for streaming. And we thought we'll never really be able to afford to go tour well over there, but we want to communicate with people. So if we hopefully stream this here, hopefully we're connecting your studio out internationally.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of Europeans love Americana music, but to hear, yeah. I mean, your style. I can't speak to where it lands outside America, but Chile and Argentina and Nepal.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Actually, our number one played Spotify city is Mexico City.
Right on.
yeah.
I hear a tour and
We'd like to go to Mexico
Yes.
City. Yeah.
a little. What's the road that goes all the way down to South America? Right. Oh. Whatever
sure
it
about
is,
that.
I don't even know.
We're going to be
Yeah.
flying,
That's like
Jamie.
a lot of
Seems like a
driving.
long drive.
Yeah, you might want to bring a whole caravan.
No, yeah.
Alice Bag moved to Mexico City.
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow,
There you go. There's the inn right there.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I've toured internationally a few times, and I have to say, like the thirst for American music, almost certainly throughout Europe, is almost unquenchable. It's really amazing. yeah, it's in some ways a very thriving live music scene. I mean, this is all pre-COVID, of course, but
Right. It's almost like there's more gratitude for certain kinds of American music in other pockets of the world. Sometimes it is what you kind of get the sense of. I don't know if you felt that.
I don't know. Everything's changing right now,
Yeah.
and so we're just watching and waiting. But
Yeah.
people are really reaching each other in a
Yes.
different way.
Yeah. Hopefully that's a byproduct of COVID is people starting to understand what's important. Good music, authenticity, teachers.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thanks again. I know I've said thank you and goodbye several times, but it's hard to stop talking to you
I'm sorry,
guys.
we're talkers. So you're gonna have to turn off these mics.
No, I was putting that. No, we love talking to you.
We won't
love
be the
that you're
first ones
here.
to stop.
Yeah. I always have to have the last word.
Last.
Fair enough. It's that Italian. I thought you said you were Portuguese also, though. But
Yes.
Italian and
Yes.
Portuguese.
Yeah,
So it's
more, but in terms of the culture of our family is a little more on the Italian side.
yeah,
So
right on.
more of the Italian goodbye and less of the Irish goodbye.
Right on.
Yeah.
No Small Children playing at Chet Fest tomorrow night up in Randolph Center, and the dates that you heard forthcoming also. Live from the Underground is July 30th. Next week we have Lore, which will be great. All as always, 10% of our profits go to Chandler Center for the Arts, our great theater here in Randolph. And thanks again, and have a great night.
Yay!